So guys, today I thought I would do a video kind of explaining a little bit about my journey as a day trader, and more importantly focusing on my first ever big loss and how it affected the rest of my day trading career. So we're going to start off back in 2017. This was the time when I actually first started to make a bit of money. I was about 20 years old. I've been trading since I was about 17, 16 years old, on demo accounts and just trying to learn the whole process of day trading. And when I was 20, that's when I first started to kind of find a great balance between my technical and fundamental strategies. And I actually started to become profitable from this trading strategy that I started to adopt. So I finished high school in May 2017, and when I was 18 years old, I was very fortunate that my family, so my mum, my dad, and my nan and granddad, and my uncle, aunts, they all chipped in a bit of money which they'd been saving throughout my whole entire life, and they gave it to me on my 18th birthday, and I actually bought my first car with this money. This car that I had, it was my pride and joy, and I needed it when I was at high school because I had to drive back and forth, and it was just good, obviously, when I was going out with my friends and stuff. However, once I finished high school, I then went to university. So I actually went to university in Edinburgh. I went to Harriet Watt, and I no longer needed my car. So I sold it, with Edinburgh being a large city. Also, I was expected to be drinking quite a lot, so I didn't, obviously, there was no point in me really having a car, with the public transport, with the buses and the trams and stuff. I just didn't really need my car. So I decided to sell my pride and joy. I sold my car and I got roughly around $4,000 for it. So I had $4,000 just chilling in my bank, and it was great. I had a safety net to kind of fall back onto if any bills occurred, which I wasn't aware of, or if I had any liabilities that I had to pay. But personally, I just hate having large amounts of money just chilling in the bank. I'd much rather invest them so that they can kind of work and generate more cash for the future. So then I thought to myself, this is the perfect time to take that $4,000 that I got from selling my car and inject it into my day trading account. It was quite risky because, at the time, although I was trading ever so slightly in profit with my day trading strategy that I adopted, I hadn't been trading in profit for a long period of time. So it was quite risky, but I decided, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to do it. So there it was. I invested $4,000, every penny that I earned, into my day trading account. And also being at university and stuff, I had plenty of time on my hands. So I think it was just a perfect opportunity to do so. So Donald Trump got elected president. He shocked the whole world. And prior to the election, the whole world, every single professional trader, every single bank, such as Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, JP Morgan, they were all saying how the stock market was going to crash if Donald Trump was elected president. However, they were all wrong. The night that Donald Trump was elected president, he made a speech, and he basically explained his plans for the United States of America, how he was going to build so much more infrastructure, how he was going to create so many more jobs. And then the real game changer is that he announced a tax reform. That's right, he announced a tax reform on US companies. He slashed the tax rates from 35% down to 22%. With a goal of trying to basically invite US companies that had gone abroad in search of tax havens so that they could save money. He wanted to kind of bring them back to the US to create US jobs. And the stock market loved this. From January, it rallied all the way throughout the year up until December 2018. I managed to turn the $4,000 that I started with on the 1st of August into roughly $55,000 in that time period of 5 to 6 months, and that was amazing. At the time, I thought, this is great. I'm going to become a millionaire. I'll never have to work in my whole entire life. I started Googling, prices of Lamborghinis, nice houses, nice watches, and I kind of got a bit carried away. I thought that was it. I'd made it. I've got a strategy that works, but I was wrong. There's a saying in the stock market that you buy the rumor and you sell the fact, and this is exactly what happened. Donald Trump signed his tax reform in January, and the stock market had such a nice lead up until January, where everyone had been buying the rumor of his tax reform, and when it finally come, the stock market crashed because things got a little bit too sweet, too fast. The Fed come out saying that that they were wanting to hike the interest rates, which is bad for companies because this then means that they have to lend, they have to pay more to the banks to lend money. And the Dow Jones crashed roughly around 10% in a 3 to 4 day time period. And where did I have all of my money invested? The Dow Jones. You know, naturally human beings are greedy, and I really thought that my strategy was unstoppable. You know, the stock market had been in a bull run for the past 10 years, and buying a dip strategy really worked. And that is exactly what I was doing. I was buying every single 2 to 3% dip that occurred in the stock market, and surely enough, it always recovered a week or 2 weeks later, and I had a really great success with this trading strategy. But sure enough, it eventually bit me in the ass, and I lost all 50,000 US dollars in just under a week. So my whole life changed completely. You know, before I was going out to restaurants, buying expensive meals, buying the nicest steaks on the menu, and just like that, I could barely even afford a spaghetti bolognese for 10 quid in a restaurant. So it was a really tough time. And you know, it kind of made me realize how much that money was. I just didn't understand at the time when I had that money in my trading account. You know, it's just a number on your computer screen. You don't realize it's actual real money. If I would have had £50,000 in cash in front of me, you know, maybe I would have changed my mind. So when I actually lost the $50,000, I was in a nightclub. It was basically this nightclub in Edinburgh, which is in like a basement, and I never had phone service in this club. And the stock market crashed at roughly around 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning, and unfortunately I didn't have any service on my phone, so I wasn't able to check the price. Anyway, at 3 a.m. the nightclub then closed, and I left the nightclub. I checked my phone and my heart just dropped out of my chest. I couldn't believe it. I was like minus 30k. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I take the loss? And just, you know, I still have 20 grand to back me up. But I made that mistake that 96% of losing Forex and day traders make. I left the stop loss to open, and I let the trade run. I lost $50,000 in just under a week. At the time, you know, I didn't realize that this actually was one of the best things that ever happened to me. You know, being a trader, we were able to make hundreds, if not thousands, on a daily basis from just sitting at home on your laptop with Wi-Fi, watching a film. You just kind of lose the value of money. At that point, at 20 years old, I'm not proud of it, but I didn't really know the true value of money. You know, I never really worked hard, earning minimum wage for an hour's fee, like £7 an hour. I never really experienced all that. But losing this £50,000 actually was the best thing that ever happened to me, because then it forced me to go back out, find a job, which I did do. You know, a couple months later, I found a job in a nightclub, and I was picking up cups off the floor, dealing with drunk people the whole night, cleaning people sick off the tables. It was disgusting, but it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it restored that value of money back into me. And you know, now whenever I make £100 or £200, I'm so grateful, because I know that I would have had to work my ass off in that nightclub all those years ago to earn, like, I think I was earning 36 quid for a 7-hour shift. So it was a really back-breaking job. So now whenever I do make money, I really appreciate it. But one of the negative things that I also learned from making all of this money is that it's never enough. Unfortunately, as humans, we are naturally greedy, and you know, if you would have asked me at 19 years old, is $50,000 a lot of money? I would have said yes. I would have been happy with it. I would have taken it and run. But when you're actually in that position where you've got $50, $100, $150,000 in your bank account, it's never enough money. You always want more. Once you've got 50 grand, you look for 100. Once you've got 100, you look for 150. And this is one negative aspect that I learned about myself. No matter how much money you have, it's never enough. And that's something that I'm trying to work on now as a trader. You know, as a day trader at the moment, I'm doing very well for myself, and I'm just trying to kind of teach myself that to not be too greedy, and that the stock market is always going to be there. You know, the stock market is never going away. So you should always be patient and just build up your big accounts. It doesn't matter how big they are, just build them up at a very slow rate. I'm pretty sure a lot of you watching this video right now, you've probably made and lost a lot of money being a day trader. And, you know, most of the time you're probably thinking, you know what, this day trading business is not really for me. You know, I just can't figure it out. And you're probably, you know, the thought of quitting has probably run through your heads hundreds of times by now. But I'm telling you right now, you just got to keep persevering. The majority of you watching this video, if you would have lost 50k back then, you would have probably quit. You would have probably never have day traded again. Emotionally, it would have affected you. But the key is to learn from these mistakes that you've made. Your average person would have looked at that $50,000 loss and gone, oh my God, I've just lost $50,000. Yes, I did do that at first, but I actually took that away from the table. I forgot about the money. I left my emotions on the table. I looked at that $50,000 that I had lost, and I kind of looked at it and said, you know what, this is a very expensive lesson. I learned from that loss. Although I did lose the money, at the same time I didn't, because I learned from that mistake. That is one thing that all day traders should have about them. They should look at their losses and learn from it. Day trading is all trial and error. I'm self-taught myself. I never signed up to one of these $2,000 trading courses because I just don't believe in it. Personally, I believe that day trading is all trial and error. And that's what you've got to do. From your losses, you've got to look at them, learn from them. If you don't learn from your losses, then you're never ever going to become a successful trader. So that's just a story that I thought I'd share with you guys. It's not all rainbows and butterflies out here. Most successful traders do have big losses, but a lot of them just don't like to share them because they like to come across as someone who's always successful, always right. But I can promise you this is not the case. 99.99% of the best traders in the world, the likes of Warren Buffett, they all make big trading mistakes throughout their trading careers, and big losses do occur. But the difference between them and most other, the 95% of other types of people, is that they're able to turn those losses into a lesson and learn from it. So from watching this video today, I hope that I've kind of motivated you, if you are trading in loss, to kind of really look and understand why you're losing money, and use that as a lesson to move forward as a day trader. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give my channel a subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thanks guys.